guerrilla marketing legal? If you're doing it right, yes.
Yeah.
Don't do anything that's illegal. That's not guerrilla marketing. That's just breaking the law. Hey everyone, welcome to the S.O.B Marketing Podcast, where we celebrate the S.O.B that you are, and if you haven't figured it out yet, we mean small-owned business. We don't mean S.O.B.
Listen, we know that as a small business owner, you are working hard on the daily to keep your business fully operational while trying to promote it. And while some days it may feel like the business is owning you, if we're being honest with each other, I bet you would admit that you wouldn't give up the insanity for anything.
Our commitment here at the S.O.B Marketing Podcast is to give you the real talk, what works when it comes to advertising, marketing, promoting your business, and then what doesn't really work.
And Chelsea and I promise to always keep the conversation real. Chelsea, welcome back to another episode of the S.O.B Marketing Podcast. S.O.B as in small-owned business, not S.O.B as in son of a biscuit. But we are back to cover another marketing topic. Just want to remind you guys, if you have not already subscribed to our podcast, please do so that way you get a notification every Thursday. We changed up the dates, y'all. So instead of releasing now every Wednesday, we're releasing a new episode every Thursday, covering a different topic every week. And if you guys have any suggestions on something you would want covered, a discussion you want for two professional marketing gals to have to cover, then please email us at help@theseasonmarketer.com. But today's topic, we are actually going to be talking about guerrilla marketing. Chelsea.
Ooh, yes.
Yes. What do you know about guerrilla marketing? Which I will say I'm not a fan of the name. I don't know what else you would call it, but and when we say guerrilla, y'all, we're not talking about guerrilla as in the animal gorilla. We're talking about guerrilla as in the warfare tactic, right?
Yeah. And I'll go into why specifically it's called guerrilla warfare when we talk about it a little bit more, but I do have an example to help you guys understand better what we mean when we say guerrilla marketing. And this is kind of funny. When I was in college, I remember this so clearly. Freshman year of high school, I was going to class in Darla. I was walking there, and there was this girl from, I don't know, like Jimmy John's, I think it was. It was a sandwich company. And she was out there handing out sandwiches, but like everyone was just walking past her because you were cutting it kind of close, right? Like it was time to be in class. So no one had time to stop or whatever, but I want a free sandwich, so I'm going to stop. I don't care. So I stopped and she was like, yeah, no one's stopping and I'm tired of being out here. So do you just want all of these?
How many sandwiches did she give you?
At least 10. I distinctly remember it was at least 10. She's like, do you want these? And I was like, yeah, free food. I mean, I'll give it to my friends or whatever. And then she just left. Well, so I guess that's a bad example of guerrilla marketing.
Well, it's a good example as to the actual tactic, like how to go about doing it. What's bad is the employee who did not obviously take her role seriously. And she was like, I've had it being out here and getting, what do you call it? Getting people to say no to me, right? So that's got to be a little, I don't know, hurts her feelings a little bit.
So guerrilla marketing, really at the end of the day, it's just an unconventional way to promote your business. Most of these are going to be in person, think hitting the pavement sort of thing. It's kind of about taking your audience by surprise, hence the name, because guerrilla warfare was all about hiding in the bushes, stuff like that, and then like surprising your enemy and attacking them. So. But yeah, we don't really like that name because warfare.
Yeah, and I think it's also, I wonder because I don't know if maybe people are more used to it now because over the years companies have found ways to provide shock value for stuff, right? And so it does seem a little more organic. But so what I want to do is I do want us to clarify or to touch on, as a small business owner, if you're thinking, Great. That sounds like something that someone with a really big budget can do, like a business with a big budget. The reason that this is so effective is because a lot of times the budget on this can be pretty inexpensive, right? So you can really get a lot more out of your dollars by using guerrilla marketing tactics. And so we'll cover some of those today, but I do want to talk about how there are about 3 different experiences or 3 different categories within guerrilla marketing. Okay. So one of them is called ambient. All right. This is the one where you see people using like bus stop benches. Right. And so one of the examples I saw was like a Kit Kat, right? They had started doing some advertising on these bus stop benches, and the bench, they actually painted it to look like a Kit Kat being unwrapped, like it looked like it had a wrapper on it and all that. So this is, you find this a lot in airports. Okay. So that's the ambient where you are changing a setting that people are at and you're using it to promote your business, right?
Okay.
Another one is experiential. So the experiential one is the one where you actually get people involved. For example, if let's say you're a pasta company and you do like a whole cooking show style thing, but you invite people in, right? So you do this, let's say, I don't know, in an outlet center, right? And you set up a little workstation and you start doing, some of this cooking in front of people, this and that. One of the things this reminds me of, Chelsea, I don't know if you experienced this. So y'all, Chelsea and I grew up military brats. Yeah. So we would commonly go to like the BX, the base exchange. Yes. And the base exchange is just a store for military people to shop at. They have clothes, jewelry, all that stuff. So in there, they would sometimes have people doing demonstrations.
Yes.
Did you ever see?
I distinctly remember this. And you know what? I remember this because one time when we were in there, they were doing a giveaway. And my dad, your dad too, our father.
Our father.
Sorry.
Not who art in heaven.
No, the one who's here. Dad got me a gold tennis bracelet. It was gold and green. It's so beautiful. I still have it. But I distinctly remember that.
He got you that specifically off of a demonstration of people that were there? Yeah. So that's the experiential part of it where you can, you provide people, you get them involved to provide some type of experience that ultimately, similar to what she just said, that dad bought you that tennis bracelet.
Oh, no, it was free.
Oh, okay. Well, it was free. Yeah. So at the end of the day, it's like, there's some type of movement that happens or promotion on the business's part. And then the other one is performance. And for performance, think of this like, y'all remember when flash mobs were like all the rage?
No.
Okay. Well, they were for a couple of years. And so maybe a performance, one would be if as a business, I hired actors or people to do a flash mob and somehow that represents or promotes my business out there. Yeah. But so those are 3 categories. And then the last one is going to be ambushes at events. And so Chelsea, do you remember the Fiji girl?
No. And I saw this in our notes and I was like, well, I have like a distant memory of something to do with Fiji and the red carpet, but like I don't remember what it is. I don't look at that kind of stuff,
So this was back like, I want to say maybe it was 2019, 2020. And basically, there was this whole controversy where people could not figure out if this girl was hired by Fiji to do this or if she was just like the worst person at the red carpet. Because what she would do is, how they do the photo ops of the famous actors and actresses? When they were coming to take the photo of these actors, she was standing behind them with a tray of Fiji water, bottled Fiji water. And so everyone was like, what is up with this girl? She showed up in every single one of these photos, photo bombing people. And so they couldn't figure out, is it a stunt by Fiji or was she just like, really awful at her job? And it was a stunt. Turns out Fiji did pay for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
But
was going
so,
to ask.
yeah, that's one of those things that kind of you were talking about. It's the element of surprise, like where you're generating some type of conversation and people really don't know which way it goes, but that's the shock value part of it.
Absolutely. And I want to say, not to rain on all your examples just now, but let's do an example that's more like the digital age.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen these ads, but it's the ads of people going up to other people and being like, oh, like Rocket Money. Rocket Money is a great example. You see people on the street interviewing passerbys saying, oh, do you know how much money you spend on your subscriptions? Oh, well, actually, I don't know. Oh, well, you should try Rocket Money. Like it's you're going up to people and you're just stopping them and talking with them, that sort of thing. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So let me give you an example of a local one that I've seen is we actually had a hospital who has an urgent care center, and they would walk up to random people, and this was not staged, right? It was purely organic. They had someone filming, they had a person with a little mic. They would go up to them and they would say, how do you get rid of a what do you call it? A jellyfish sting. Like, how do you deal with the jellyfish sting if you're at the beach? How do you get rid of hiccups, right? And they would show the clips of every single person, like sharing their, what they learned as kids, how to get rid of hiccups. And it was brilliant because what it does is they then turn those into ads, and then those ads circulate, and then it gets the engagement because everyone wants to share their opinions about it. And so to your point, those are really great ways to use that guerrilla marketing to then go even further and to turn it into an ad.
Yes, exactly. But I do want to say, in those scenarios, I will say you were seeing the people who agreed to talk.
Yeah.
So if you go out there and you decide that you want to do an ad that's sort of like this, don't get discouraged if no one wants to talk to you. That's kind of, no one's going to want to talk to you. You're just going to have to wait until you actually get someone who's willing to engage with you. Just putting that out there.
Absolutely. So, what other ways then, Chelsea, besides that example that you gave of going out and just kind of interviewing people, what other examples do you see within, the local community of businesses doing guerrilla marketing?
Well, I can give you an example of something that Bray has done at the salon for Brazilian wax. Was it 2 years ago? I think 2 years ago for Christmas. Now, Bray has a perfect location on Main Street. She's right there. So when the Christmas parade came by that year, she went out and she handed out candy canes that were attached to little postcards. And I'm sure we've talked about this before, but it is a really great example of guerrilla marketing because one, you're hitting the pavement, you're going out there, no one's expecting you to do that. So it is kind of a surprise, like we talked about. And it is going to be low cost. You're just creating some postcards and buying some candy canes.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you love making crafts and working on your small business but struggle to get them in front of customers?
Do craft fairs, events, or pop-ups leave you feeling overwhelmed or frustrated?
Introducing Rock Your Fair, the course designed to help you succeed in the world of craft fairs, pop-ups, and events, created by two marketing professionals with over 15 years of experience. Rock Your Fair is perfect for anyone who's new to the game or just wants to step up their game.
Our step-by-step approach will guide you through everything you need to know, from choosing the right events, to setting up your booth, to marketing your products effectively.
And you know what? You'll also get access to us for personalized coaching and feedback so you can put your best foot forward.
Do not let craft fairs, pop-ups, and events hold you back. Sign up for Rock Your Fair today and start rocking your way to success.
For a limited time, get access to our free mini course. Simply head over to our website at www.theseasonmarketer.com and click on workshops.
And like we just talked about, guerrilla marketing can definitely be low cost, and that can be really effective and efficient for you as a small business owner. I do want to remind everyone, though, it's still going to take time and effort. And don't minimize what that costs to you, because time spent creating this marketing initiative is going to be time that you're not working on something else for your small business. So just remember, even though it is low cost in terms of money, it's still going to cost you time, effort, your creativity.
And if you're including other people, like you're saying, like staff members, you know, taking them away from stuff. Yeah, absolutely. I do also want to say, though, the opportunity that you have here with some of this hitting the pavement type of, you know, campaigns is it does allow for way more creativity. So
Yeah.
Chelsea, you know, as you know, it can be hard sometimes if you're doing the same stuff like in advertising, whether it's a magazine ad or a radio ad, you're limited by that particular medium. With this, it's like there's endless possibility because really it's just up to how creative you can get with reaching out to your target audience. And I do want to say that it's one more way where you can create a super memorable experience for people where it's going to allow your business to really stand out.
I do want to say, though, and again, we say this so often, but knowing your target audience, because there have been times where companies have hit the pavement, done some guerrilla marketing, and it went wrong. And it
Really
had
bad.
a negative reaction. And I just don't want you guys to have to deal with a negative reaction. I have a great example of guerrilla marketing gone wrong. This is
I think
hilarious.
you seem a little too excited to share this.
This is so funny. It's so funny. Okay, so Snapple in 2005 wanted to erect the world's largest popsicle in Times Square in New York, right? It was 25 feet tall and it was frozen. It's a popsicle, right? Okay, but they decided to do this in June when it
When it's
was
hot.
80 degrees outside. The popsicle started to melt as they were lifting it up, trying to erect it. It flooded downtown Manhattan in kiwi, strawberry, Snapple. They had to call the firefighters. They had to close off all the streets. They had to hose down everything.
And I'm sure they got fined for that.
100%. They definitely did. That is hilarious. So definitely get creative with it. If they had succeeded, that would have been great. That would have been huge. It would have been really impressive. But they didn't really think it through because, again, why would you do this during the summer? You could have done it during spring.
And there are so many, let's talk about, I guess that's the downside of doing guerrilla marketing is that there are so many elements because it's not a simple one and done type of ad. If you are going to invest the time and effort to do it, there are probably a couple things that you want to do to CYA, right? Cover your ass. And so one of those would be sure that you're hiring the right people. If you have to have teams out there to help you to, you know, to do this like performance or whatever it is, be sure that you're hiring the right people that aren't going to do something, you know, bad because they are representing your business. And then also being sure that you remember what the purpose is, because I think this is maybe where a lot of marketing and advertising goes wrong, where they focus too much on wanting to be funny or wanting to be outrageous or to create some of that shock effect, but yet does it lead to sales? Right. So that's the thing is like, you know, be sure that you're still correlating it with the growth of your business and not just because you want to dump money into, you know,
absolutely.
Whatever.
And make sure that it actually makes sense in terms of your business. I also want to say, and I saw while I was doing research for this episode, a lot of people's questions are, is guerrilla marketing legal? If you're doing it right, yes.
Yeah.
Don't do anything that's illegal. That's not guerrilla marketing. That's just breaking the law. Don't make sure, like you said, cover your ass. Don't do a publicity somewhere that's private property.
Right.
I mean, yeah, you're going to make people mad. Like, don't make sure that you are thinking through all of your creative ideas when you're trying to come up with guerrilla marketing. And again, make sure that you're doing something that's also going to catch the attention of your target audience. Do not go hand out flyers in front of Target if your target audience goes to Walmart. Like, you're just wasting your time. So yes, get creative, have fun with it. Guerrilla marketing can definitely be fun. Make sure that you thought this through and that it makes sense and that it's going to relate back to your business and hopefully relate back to sales.
Yeah, and so going back to the buckets that we kind of covered early on, whether it be the ambient, the experiential, the performance, the ambush at events, when you're doing these things, if you're doing it correctly and giving thought to your target audience, you're obviously going to show up in the places that they are or that they're going to, be at. So,
Mm-hmm.
like Chelsea said, you don't not want to think about that, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
then you're going to be putting on a show or doing something great. People are going to be like, wow, that's amazing. And then none of them are going to be your target audience and people that are going to be
Yeah.
buying your product service. So.
Yeah. I also want to bring up when I was talking earlier about Rocket Money and that example, they had turned their guerrilla marketing into digital ads. That's definitely something that you can do if you're recording, if you're recording stuff like that. Recycle, reuse your content. You can definitely turn it into a digital ad.
Excellent. Well, I know that was a super down and dirty explanation of guerrilla marketing, but we do find that there's a lot of value in that and that there is a little bit of a cost savings, right? So it might
Yeah.
be less expensive to go the route of some type of guerrilla marketing than it would be to, take out a billboard or do something like that. So those are all things for your consideration. I think the big takeaway here is y'all don't have to put yourself in boxes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You can think outside the box. If you know that your people are hanging out somewhere, your target audience, and you want to show up there are ways to do that without it being an ad. There are ways where you could get them involved, have them experience something, or just create these experiences that they are going to remember long term.
Well, I think that was short and sweet. We got straight to the point, guerrilla marketing. If you guys have any more questions, though, about this topic or anything at all, you can email us at help@theseasonmarketer.com, or you could just send us a DM on social media, whatever
Do it.
works best for you guys. But go out there, try out guerrilla marketing, try to get a little creative, and go be the best SOB you can be.